Kittle. Alderman Breeze.
Here.
Alderman Weinmeier.
Here.
Alderman Gartner.
Here.
Alderman Grady.
Here.
Alderman Montello.
Here. Pledge of allegiance.
Of the United States of America, republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. President, I'm going to offer a motion that we adopt the agenda.
Second?
Second? Oh, was that Tom?
Tom got that one.
And I
You were asking for it, but yeah.
just wanted to make a comment. I think it was part of the consent agenda relative to the garden. You wanted to make a comment about the Richmond Garden Club. Sorry, and I'm opening up my deal right now just for everybody's benefit that they can hear about it. It's kind of a neat thing. And
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we have a couple donations listed under the consent agenda for tonight. 2 donations from the Masonic Lodge, one for the fire department, one for the police department. And another donation noted in there from the Willow River Garden Club for the Peggy Grubbs Memorial Garden. So if you're familiar with the new library site, this would be on the southeast corner near the adult section by the building. And so there's no cost to the city. This group would be doing the plantings, maintaining it for landscaping throughout the summer if there's watering. And very appreciative. They reached out to us actually last fall, wanting to do something here in Richmond. They thought it was a good location. It still also gives us plenty of room on the site, whether it's programming for the library, whether there's other community events. So it's not that whole area. It's kind of along the sidewalk there. They'll also do some landscaping by the where Jeweltown Roastery is, kind of right on that corner there. So both those areas were just planned for hydro seed, just for turf grass, and they thought both visible areas. And again, just want to recognize and thank them for approaching us about this. And it is an investment, not just monetarily for the shrubs and the benches and those things, but obviously the labor throughout the summer. So.
and did you want to comment about what the dollar amount was?
Total value with the plants, benches, I believe it's in excess of $15,000.
Yeah, it's substantial.
Yeah.
And I know Peggy was a longtime person, the community business owner, and it's just neat. So I just wanted to get that some verbal recognition. So
Before we get to the consent agenda, we do have public comments. I do have one person who is interested in speaking. Michelle, would you please come up to the front here? We haven't gotten to the consent agenda.
No, we didn't.
Did all those in favor of
Second,
approving the agenda say aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
All right, I'm Michelle Clintworth. I own the Next Door Cafe. Our main concerns are regarding parking availability during the upcoming Fun Fest events. We want to acknowledge the inconvenience this causes our customers and community members. At the same time, we are actively working with the Chamber of Commerce. To help address these challenges and minimize the impact on local businesses, our goal is to find solutions that not only improving parking access where possible, but also offset any potential financial loss resulting from these temporary changes. We appreciate your patience and support as we collaborate on ways to make this event successful for both the community and local businesses. Following the conclusion of Fun Fest, we would like continued open lines of communication with the Chamber and the city to evaluate the event's overall impact. This includes gathering feedback and reviewing data related to parking operations, traffic flow, and accessibility, as well as assessing the broader economic impact. These ongoing discussions will help identify successes and address any challenges and inform improvements for future events to better serve both attendees and the community. Thank you.
For a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Wanted to point out also we had a couple other donations. Lodge number 195, $500 for the New Richmond Police Department, Health and Wellness, and wellness initiatives, and $500 to the Police Department for. Thank you to those. Those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Business. Applications from the Richmond Area Chamber of Commerce Fun Fest.
So the agenda packet this evening includes a memo with kind of a summary of the proposed plans for this year's Fun Fest event. Kind of walks through the dates and times for the parade, music, closure of streets and alleys. Fun Fest has now been in the downtown Richmond for the last few years. Really, the proposed locations are consistent with last year. Parade route is still the same, starting on up by Dairy Queen on North Knowles, proceeding south and wrapping up on East 6th Street. The hours for the bands are consistent with last year. So Thursday, 3 to 11, 3 o'clock to midnight on Friday, noon to midnight on Saturday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. So the city grants the permit for outdoor amplification is what that comes to the city for. And then in terms of closure of the streets and alleys, again, same plan as last year. So it's the alley behind Champs and Salty on the East 200 block of Knowles Avenue, from 2nd to 3rd Street, from Tuesday at 6 o'clock until Monday at 10 in the morning. East 2nd Street would be blocked off from Knowles Avenue, 2nd Street would be open from Knowles Avenue to the entrance to First National Community Bank, and then it would be blocked off as you get a little closer to the intersection with Arch Avenue. 3rd Street would be closed from the alley. Actually, it's just to the east of South Arch Avenue, and then all the way to Knowles Avenue. And then South Arch Avenue is closed from East 2nd Street to 307 South Arch. So getting closer to the ambulance building as you go south. And so all the times are listed there in the memo. One recommendation from staff in regards to South Arch, the chamber had requested 6 o'clock. The Methodist Church has their event that goes on until 6:30. So that was one change that we noted that we'd recommend if you approve that tonight, just to help with traffic flow that evening. So it's just a 30-minute difference, but we thought with their event, just making sure that if people are parked there, they're able to get out more easily. The chamber requests every year the temporary alcohol beverage licenses, so you can see those listed in the memo as well. We have not received any applications thus far for extension of premise, but generally we will from some of the establishments downtown. At our last work session, there was a letter shared from a downtown business owner with some concerns about the impact that it has on their business. That was a request from the council at our last work session, was to share that letter with the chamber staff and board. I did speak with one of the board members last week, and they had an opportunity to meet with that particular business owner here. In terms of recommendations from staff, we have some of the same conditions that we've noted from previous years. So we noted keeping South Arch open until Tuesday at 6:30, just with hopefully helping eliminate any conflict there with that other event. We noted that the setup and takedown of the carnival rides would not go on after 10 o'clock at night or before 7 a.m., just out of respect to those homeowners. So we haven't had issues with that in the past, but we thought just to note that in there. Obviously, if you're a homeowner there, you wouldn't want carnival rides going on at being set up, at midnight, 1 in the morning or something on a Tuesday night or on a Wednesday. So, but again, we haven't had issues with that. Some of the same conditions are noted then in the memo. Number 3 goes through the carnival rides, keeping them a safe distance from Knowles Avenue, ensuring that the emergency access lane isn't obstructed, ensuring that driveways that provide access to the public parking lot behind Wild Badger are not blocked by food booths or carnival rides, ensuring that the alley between South Arch and South Green isn't obstructed, Couple comments on dumpsters. Some of these date back a few years, just ensuring that the dumpsters are emptied on a regular basis and that they're not blocking the intersection of East Third and South Knowles. We always like to have a more detailed map just showing dumpster locations, portable toilets, handicap parking, so that as the event draws, the date draws closer, and we can share that information, and businesses can help promote that to their customers so they know where they can park and where bathrooms are located and those details. And then finally, items 10 and 11, we noted having basically a pre-event meeting and a post-event meeting. So I have an event kind of that late June time. Obviously, we lose folks during the 4th of July holiday, but having a meeting with businesses surrounding property owners in late June, just to kind of run through the schedule, talk through parking for some of those neighboring businesses. So hopefully folks are on the same page going into the event. And then doing a post meeting in August after the event, just hear what went well, what can be improved going forward, so that we already start planning for 2027 earlier rather than later, which we've talked about in the past too. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. We do have representatives here tonight from the chamber, both from staff and the board, if the council has any questions for them about anything in particular.
Noah, didn't we try to have a post-event meeting last year?
So we've had some post-event meetings just with staff, but not necessarily with any other meetings that with businesses would have been on the under the chamber, if they had their own meetings.
But I have a remembrance that there was going to be a follow-up meeting with the chamber to discuss what worked, what didn't work, whether it was last year or the year before that. Am I thinking wrong?
So we've had meetings with chamber staff and just with city staff, either before or after the event. So primarily utilities, public works, police, fire. But I'm not aware of one with, all the property owners around.
Well, and I wasn't even necessarily talking about the property owners. The event's put on by the Chamber of Commerce, and it seems to me that it's in their best interest, just like it's in our best interest, that there's great communication prior to and afterwards. I think that based on conversations that I've had with the chief, there's issues of things that come up, and there's ways to mitigate some of those things, right? As long as everybody's on the same page. It's just super important that these things happen, right? I don't really understand why the communication has been so hard, but I'll take it at face value that it's not going to be hard going forward. So that's a concern that I have.
Noah, could you maybe explain the policy that we have for when permits are supposed to be to the city for us to be acting on?
Yeah, so for Fun Fest, with the event being in July, we would like to bring all of the applications that you have before you tonight at the January meeting, with the idea that they're 6 months at a time. And we'd like to bring everything to you all at once, so it's not the parade got approved 1 month, and then 2 months later there's another application that gets approved, but to say once everything's all in, so you can see the kind of the totality of the event, versus approving them, kind of piecemeal. So we like to do 6 months in advance. So same thing for like hometown holidays, with that event being late November, early December, we do 6 months prior to that, with it being a larger scale event.
We've had that policy for a few years.
Yep, we have. Yep, 2 or 3 years. Yep.
I would like to make a motion to approve the application from the chamber.
Good. Second?
I'll second it.
Oh,
Any other discussion? I just wanted to make sure that, we had Michelle speak up in here, and I know you've met with the chamber, tried to work out some things, hopefully to the satisfaction. The city is gonna offer, parking for your residents, renters up above. I know this has been an issue for several years about timing and communication with the chamber. It's my sincere hope that the chamber and the city can get back on the same page cooperating. I think it's necessary that we do that. Best for the citizens of New Richmond. Anything else? Michelle, please take the roll.
Alderman Kittle,
yes.
Alderman Breeze,
Yes.
Alderman Weinmeier,
Yes.
Alderman Gartner.
Yes.
Alderman Grady,
Yes.
Alderman Montello.
Yes.
Motion passes. 7.2, conditional use permit application, the towers.
So the next item was reviewed by the Plan Commission at their meeting this past Thursday. So there's a conditional use permit application. And if you recall, in the last couple of years, we changed our policy where previously conditional use permits were just approved at the Plan Commission level. And then we changed that so that those conditional use permit applications also come to the City Council. So what is being proposed is a 159-foot monopole cell tower. This would be south of Ellicott Dredge Technologies. And Michelle, if you're able to, I think it's maybe page 9 in that memo, just to show you the site plan, just so you can kind of get an idea of where this would be. And so, yep, there we go. So if you drive, this is kind of southwest portion of Richmond. It's on the south side of Richmond Way. So Ellicott Dredge Technology, that road just ends right now, kind of in that cul-de-sac or dead end. You can see on the screen here, this would be on the east side of Madison Avenue. So there'd be a paved access drive, and then you can see the location of the tower. There would be security fence around the site, and this is 159 feet in height. So in terms of the application, there are engineered plans submitted, and those were reviewed by the city's consultant to look through those specifications. And with a project like this, there's city requirements, there's also state requirements as to what the city can and can't enforce, and ensuring that some of those are consistent. We don't get applications like this every day, so in some cases our ordinance is also a little bit outdated in this area. But we do have on our water towers in the city, we do have lease agreements with some of the cell phone providers where they have their equipment, where they rent space on the city's water tower. So that's always our preferred option. So you'll see in the memo we talk about co-locating those. But in some cases that isn't always feasible for various reasons. So we did have our consultant look through their submitted plans. The recommendation from the Plan Commission and from staff is to approve the conditional use permit application. They did note 4 different conditions. One is the applicant shall provide the existing impervious surface and proposed lot coverage with the addition of the 6,240 square feet of impervious surface. The second condition, applicant shall confirm no external lighting is proposed on the site. If there is lighting proposed, it has to meet our city ordinance. The developer would be responsible for any costs associated with inspecting the project during the course of construction. So this isn't something that our building inspector typically is. He's not going up on a tower and doing those inspections. And we want to ensure obviously that's being built as it was designed. And then there are some documents that are to be provided by the applicant in terms of having the professional engineer stamp plans, geotechnical report, et cetera. So happy to answer any questions that you might have. We do have representatives here for the project. So if you have any more technical questions that I can't address, feel free to ask those to the group.
Let's get a motion on the floor and then have a discussion.
Well, I want to ask something first. Airport. Have they, and I'm sorry if I missed it in there,
So in this location, the tower can be no taller than 160 feet. It's 159 feet.
So that means what relative to the airport? At 159 feet, it's okay. At 160 feet, it would need some kind of variance or whatever, or just couldn't be.
Right, so there's different, we have a map of the city that shows kind of maximum heights and proximity because we're within 3 miles of the airport. So, as you get closer to the airport, obviously you wouldn't be able to have it, where in this case you're kind of on the edge of the city, but also depends on where this is located in relationship to the runway as well. So.
Now, are these city
So it's-
ordinances or state laws or FAA laws or the 160 feet?
So Both.
all
Above.
the
He
above.
said three,
So-
he said three different things, so.
So there's FAA requirements, but then even here locally in New Richmond, we have a overlay district with their own local requirements. So
Actually, our airport
wanna see
manager
what
is
Mike
sitting
has-
back
I'll
here.
say, yeah,
so-
do you have any
I'm looking
questions
for
for
him
Mike?
to
Yeah.
see what he had to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike,
Mike,
I did review this and I found it to be below the limit for our height limitation zoning ordinance, which is authorized by state law that we can have a local ordinance. And I don't have any issues with this placement.
so, Mr. President, I'm going to offer a motion. I have some more questions, but I'll offer a motion that we approve this with the conditions outlined.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say
Uh,
aye.
I've
Oh,
got some more
motion?
questions.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I got some more
Go ahead.
questions. You said no exterior lighting. I'm assuming it's going to have a light on it. A beacon of some type?
Well, it should.
It's not legally required. I think the threshold is 200 feet above ground for lighting for the FAA. And
Wow.
I know our city ordinances don't require it.
So the pilot's just got to know that it's there.
It's far enough away from the airport where it's not a hazard.
They shouldn't be that low at that point of within the city.
Something's wrong if they are, yes.
Well, if I was flying, there would be something
Well,
wrong.
you could stop the sentence if I was flying.
You're right. Next
got a
thing is
question.
that, did I read correctly? This is a Verizon tower, is what's going up? That's fine with me. It's for Verizon, and so. Sure. Yeah. Cell carriers. And is it possible that, she's gonna give you a microphone, and is it all right if I put these questions to them? So, I'm assuming that right today, Verizon rents tower space from us, from the city on the water towers, whatever. Do you know, is that gonna change? So once Verizon has this tower built, will they not have the need to be on the other things that they lease right now?
So I can't speak specifically to their
Plans?
plans, but I do know that this is a site to offload capacity. This area of the state has grown rapidly, and so the existing sites are overloaded on traffic. So the primary purpose of this site is to take off some of the capacity overload from the existing sites. So it's not a replacement site where they're building a tower to then move off of a water tank. They're looking to increase the capacity in the city.
But you're not sure of that.
Well, I mean, their networking requirements can always change, but they typically will have either a coverage site or a capacity site or both. And this one's a capacity site where they are looking to essentially provide relief to the existing sites that are overloaded by the traffic.
And Noah, just a question for you. We wouldn't get any revenue off of this new tower?
No.
And we do get revenue off the tower that,
Well, the water towers.
the water towers or whatever we own. So
yes.
we would lose revenue by doing this.
No, so Verizon has not provided any communication to us saying that they want to terminate their lease agreements with us.
And how long is
on
that for?
existing Towers. I'd have to look at when they're
Okay,
up for
I'm
renewal.
sorry
but
about that.
Generally, those are 6-7 year duration agreements, so.
So there's a possibility we could lose revenue if they built their own tower and wouldn't need our water towers.
We have to look through the terms of the lease as to how much notice they'd have to provide us, if they could exit out early, and, what their plans would be, so.
I think,
Could another, can I say
I'm
something?
sorry?
Could another carrier move to that tower and we'd lose revenue if we lost carriers that are on our water tower now and they move to that one? I thought we had something there that they couldn't do that. Take off our water tower. Is that possible?
So each of the terms of the lease agreements of all the cell phone carriers is gonna be a little different in terms of their duration when they're up for renewal. In terms of the future of this proposed tower, the city isn't gonna control who the owner of the tower leases to or doesn't lease to. No different than in the townships. It's not uncommon for a farmer to rent out space even on their silo for a local radio station or things like that. But the local government body doesn't approve or dictate who they can or can't lease their space to. So their tower, they would control that. Obviously, we want to ensure that from equipment that's going up in any tower in the city isn't impacting the ability for first responders or local businesses or interference. But again, that's part of the review and specifications for all the equipment.
So I assume you're tower folks. You're not cell phone folks, you're tower folks.
Well, yeah, so I'm an attorney for the towers, and Carl is a site acquisition agent. So his job is he's retained by the tower company, who is the reason the tower company is here is because they have to have a tenant. So Verizon
Sure.
being interested, he goes and finds a site based on their network needs, like we said, coverage or capacity. This one's capacity, and then has to get a lease with the property owner and then get to this point.
So it's no good for me to ask you, Verizon's got they got added capacity there. And I'm not even going to look at, and I'm sorry, I don't know your first name.
Jake Remington.
Jake. I'm sorry, but I'm going to look at you, and you can say, I have no idea, but people that have complained about lack of cell phone coverage with different carriers, but we'll just use Verizon because that's who we're talking about. Will they necessarily expect that there'll be better coverage in the city of Richmond? I'm keenly aware of an area where there's a dead pocket. Is it conceivable that that should be better?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole reason for the towers, to provide better coverage, because right now, because of the max capacity, so many people are trying to connect it to the towers or to the areas that they got antennas right now, that you're not having that good connection the further out you go. So being on the south end with this tower, that's going to help out that coverage.
And it's not fair for me to ask you, but I'm going to do it anyhow. Star Prairie is a really tough spot. I know I don't know what carrier you can get coverage. I'm only familiar with two, and I know Verizon didn't have this. It will not impact that, or it may. Because if coverage moves to this tower if capacity moves to this tower, I'm not even saying that, right? If traffic moves to this tower that exists somewhere else, am I understanding that right? And again, I'm sorry if that's not your specialty.
So yeah, that's more of with the RF engineers, and they see those coverage maps, and because I deal with not just Verizon, but other carriers.
Right.
We technically usually never see those unless it's required for zoning.
Sure.
Those maps. So to know exactly what this tower do for another location, as far as if that changes coverage, I can't answer that.
But it is fair to say that the cell phone users in New Richmond, and whether we're talking about Verizon or the fact that there very well may be other cell phone carriers getting space on that tower, that would give residents a reason to be happy that their cell phone coverage should be better going forward.
Yeah, that's right. The capital deployment for these is such that they do it based on what they're seeing in their network, what they're seeing with complaints. They're looking at their traffic and their
Sure.
their coverage, and in adding a site, you're necessarily going to be improving coverage in this area. Yes.
Thank you.
Well, unless Verizon chooses not to go on the water tower because it costs more money, and now they have an investment in another tower, they won't want to do two towers. Or is the capacity that important that they have to basically be on both towers, which would be good for the city?
Yeah, I mean, again, we're not RF engineers, so we.
No, I know.
But generally speaking, you wouldn't take away. There are sometimes instances where they have replacement towers based on potentially economics or other issues with maybe maintenance on the water tank. The towers are more suitable for equipment. But what you typically see is the basis for it is to replicate the coverage. So they're putting the tower as close as they could to that existing antenna, and they're trying to replicate the same coverage with just new structure. Whereas here, it's not close enough. In fact, these tanks are too far from this site to provide the coverage and the capacity relief they need. So theoretically, it could happen, but when they add an additional site like this, they're trying to increase the overall coverage. And if you eliminate a site where they're already on, you would necessarily, go
Yeah.
down from 4 towers to 3, and you'd be back in the same capacity issue
Yeah.
as you were before.
But we don't know that for sure.
No?
Yeah, I mean, we don't see
No, I-
the
and
models.
I'm not asking
and-
you that question.
Yeah,
But we
yeah, correct.
up here don't know that for sure.
That's right.
They might try and build a new tower or lease a new tower from someone else, drop whatever we pay, what we get paid from them, and say, I'm not going to pay double for what,
Yeah, and
you know.
same
We
thing
don't
with
know.
our,
We don't know.
same thing with our third water tower that'll be getting built. We don't know what companies may want to
Right.
rent that from us, but for the purpose of the conditional use permit, we also can't base it on speculation as to
No,
what,
I
what they
get
may
it.
or may not do.
I'm just asking
but-
questions.
Yeah, and there are, there's portions of the state statute and the code here, as in several other jurisdictions, that when you're looking to potentially site a tower closer to an existing one, you have to explain why you can't co-locate on that,
Right.
an existing structure. And so there's much more of a robust discussion and finding that must be made to establish that, there is an existing structure, whereas this case, the RF engineer had an affidavit. They looked at these existing sites, they looked at their coverage and capacity needs, had the third party look at it too, and said, these existing sites don't work. There are no sites within this area where they need to provide coverage and capacity offload. And so therefore, that's why we're proceeding with this tower.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for your help. When I read this, I was much more concerned about the 159 feet as opposed to 160. But because the airport manager is here and is okay with this, then I'm okay with this.
And is that right, Mike? You're switching to Verizon? Sorry.
Think you had a question or comment?
The question I got, Noe, is if Verizon builds this tower and sometime down the road they lease part of that tower out to some other entity, and because of that lease they make some type of modifications to the tower, before they do that, do they have to come back to the council to get approval for the modifications?
It may just depend as to what extent the modifications are. Even with the equipment on our water towers, if something's like a replacement or if there's doing something totally different, there might be a review needed just to ensure that it's not going to interfere with any of the other equipment on the two towers in the city. So typically if it's like in this case, let's say it's Verizon and 4 or 5 years from now, they're just doing a replacement, that isn't going to be reviewed by us. But if they're adding something or if a different carriers have an equipment going on there.
It adds 18 inches.
Right. And, and the biggest things we want to ensure is even like on our 2 water towers, we don't just say, yeah, go up there, do what you want to do. We want to see the plans. We know what's actually getting put up there so that, let's say a month later, we're having issues with radios for first responders, and to actually see, okay, well, what's causing that? And say, well, here's what they did on the tower. Could that be what's causing it? So even though it is a private tower, we still want to know in the future what's going on with it.
Does the LLC already own the land? Does the LLC already own the land? The purchase is dependent upon this being approved.
No, they have a ground lease with the property owner.
Oh,
So the
it's gonna be a
tower
lease.
company has a
Yep.
ground lease,
Okay.
prime lease, they call it, with.
Got it.
Yeah, with the property
And that's been
owner.
executed already?
Yes, they usually secure that
Sure.
before approvals, yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We have a motion on the floor to approve this application. All
With
those in-
conditions, with the conditions.
With the conditions. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
7.3, purchase of lawnmower in Richmond Regional Airport.
I can introduce this, and if you have any detailed questions, can refer them to Mike. The Airport Commission had a meeting last week, so both Craig and Mike serve on the Airport Commission, and made a recommendation to proceed with the purchase of a used mower. The amount is $14,410. So a couple of years ago in our capital plan, we had actually allocated funds to buy a new mower. So we had actually allocated $30,000 or $28,000, I believe. And for the last few years, the airport has been using a mower that was owned by a hangar owner who had been generously providing that to us. And that mower was sold at the end of 2025. And so included in the packet, you can see some of the details of the used mower that was located. And this was on the surplus auction site, and it was a 2008 Toro. And the airport staff feel that the mower would be able to serve the airport for many years, that it was a very good deal when you look at comparable equipment. So the recommendation from the Airport Commission was to proceed with the purchase of the used mower. And then Mike Demling, our airport manager, is here if you have any questions for him, more specifics about the mower in particular.
Mr. President, I'm going to offer a motion that we approve the purchase of this mower in the amount of $14,410.
I'll second that.
Any other questions or comments? We will take a roll call on this one as we're spending money.
Alderman Weinmeier,
Yes.
Alderman Gartner,
Yes.
Alderman Grady,
Yes.
Alderman Montello.
Yes.
Alderman Kittle,
Yes.
Alderman Breeze.
Yes. 7.4, bids for electric department bucket truck.
Earlier this spring, the Utility Commission and Council had authorized staff to proceed with soliciting bids for a bucket truck. You can see included in the packet, we received 3 bids ranging from $257,000 up to $260,000. You can also see in the tabulation the estimated lead times for delivery. And so you have a delivery from June 30th of 2027, ranging all the way to our high bid delivery of February 23rd of 2029. So again, more specialized vehicle, something that it's not going to arrive next week or something like, but something that we do feel that the existing bucket truck can get us through that period of time. But given the age of the vehicle, it is something that we should be looking ahead to replace. The recommendation from staff and the Utility Commission was to go with the low bid, which is from Utility Sales and Service. And the low bid amount was $257,033.
I'd make a motion to approve the bid.
Second.
I'll second.
Comments, questions? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Gartner,
Yes.
Alderman Grady,
Yes.
Alderman Montello.
Yes.
Alderman Kittle,
Yes.
Alderman Breeze,
Yes.
and Alderman Weinmeier has stepped out.
7.6.
5.
7.5, construction, electric, memo bids, contracted underground construction.
So another item that was reviewed by the Utility Commission at the recent meeting. So this is for contracted directional drilling and underground work. You can see the projects identified a little more detail in the packet. So this is for a 3-phase extension along 140th, the Highview substation, feeder exits, Johnson Drive, kind of near the farm and home area, and then over by the Richmond Golf Course. In this case, we received 4 bids ranging from $44,600 as a low bid up to the high bid of $129,390. So this work would all be done in 2026. The funding for the project, this was included in the department's capital improvement plan for 2026. And the low bid was from Chater and Hystrom. And again, the low bid was $44,600. So staff and the Utility Commission recommended awarding the project to the low bidder.
I'd make a motion that we go with Chater Hystrom for $44,600 is the low bid.
I'll second that.
Questions or comments?
Well, just 2 things. A, when folks look at this, they understand how important it is that we do bid these projects out. That's an unbelievable difference, and I know we've seen that in some other things, so it's just super important that we bid these things out. And the other thing I just wanted to comment on is sometimes folks wonder, we have a storm and above ground lines go down, for example, and that's like, well, why don't they bury it all? And there is a reason. Well, I mean, obviously there's a cost of putting it in the ground, but the transmission of power once it's in the ground is not as efficient as it is an above ground line. Now you're looking at me, Noah, like, I'm not sure he knows what he's talking about, but I think I do.
You didn't look at me either, Mike.
No,
I had
you're
the
right.
same
I didn't look at you.
Yeah, I mean, we try to do as much underground as we can. It's a requirement with new developments. Anytime we redo a street project, we try to locate, take as much overhead, put it underground as we can. There are cases where we still have to have overhead, just depending on the location, depending on, is it single phase, three phase? But yes, we do try to do as much underground as we can. And I'd say that the cost of some of that directional boring, the technology has gotten better as well. So you're not, years ago where it was, you're doing a trench and doing where now the directional drilling where some of the right of way gets very crowded very quickly, and you've got a lot of private utilities, public utilities, all in a really confined space. That technology continues to get better. So.
But Mike, I think that's a great question. I think we should have Wes maybe in his next month's memo.
Sure,
Just
that'd be awesome.
Sure.
I have asked Wes about that, and he explained it to me. You are correct.
Greg, could you say that louder and speak into the microphone, please? Let the minutes reflect that, will you please, Michelle?
Hi.
I've
Alderman
got it.
Montello was right once.
Only once. I said only once. He doesn't need your help.
Did we get a motion on the floor?
Yeah,
We
and
did.
a second.
And it's, yeah.
Take a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Grady,
Yes.
Alderman Montello,
Yes.
Alderman Kittle,
Yes.
Alderman Breeze,
Yes.
Alderman Weinmeier,
Yes.
Alderman Gartner.
Yes.
7.6, memo bids, contracted pole replacement.
So the next item for bids was the wood pole replacement. So this is something we do on a regular basis. Our staff in the electric department will do some of their own replacements throughout the year. Oftentimes we will contract out poles that are more difficult area for various reasons. And so in this case, we received two bids. Low bid was from Chater and Heistrom, $49,450. The other bid was from Higher Power. Their bid was $57,840.50. So recommendation from the Utility Commission and staff was to award the project to the low bidder, Chater and Heistrom, in the amount of $49,450.
I'd make a motion to approve the $49,450.
Second that.
Second. Any comments or questions?
When did
Yep.
Trader Heistrom start putting up poles?
I think that they
been a
purchased.
long time doing that?
They purchased a company last few years that do.
The only comment I have, and it's relative to the utility work that has been done in our community, I think it's a big power line that they were working on, and I feel bad there, this has been expressed to me, some of these folks' yards look terrible. They drove equipment on it. Do we have a commitment from the company that did the work? And I realize that relative to this, because I don't want to get off the agenda item, but relative to this, what protection do we have for folks that property is going to be returned to the way it looked prior to the replacement happening? Because it's very real along 140th. You can just drive that and see that. And I hope that that's going to be addressed. But I guess relative to this.
Isn't that part of the bid?
No, separate projects. So in this
Well,
case,
no,
for
I think
this-
he's asking, is
Is the
restoring
restoration
part of the bid?
any bid that we do? I would guess.
So site restoration sometimes will be done by staff, sometimes it'll be done by the contractor. That is something that, when it's an Richmond utility project, that we'll
Yep.
try to come through with black dirt, grass seed.
Yeah.
The project that you're referencing is not a Richmond utility project.
Right.
That's an Excel Energy project. So I wouldn't be able to comment as to the timing of when they're coming back doing site restoration.
But you have an understanding they're going to,
Yes.
okay?
Yep.
Well,
I
I've
would
been asked.
anticipate that they're not going to do it until we have a little more, obviously things are warming up now, but when
Yeah.
they were doing the work earlier in March, we still had snow on the ground. But yeah, they should be coming back doing restoration work. But it's not a project where they're contracted with the city to do that.
But
Been our-
Alderman Kittle's question, this is a utilities
Yep.
project.
Yes.
So the utilities department would be responsible for site restoration. Is that what you're saying? And this project?
Right, so, yeah, so these wood pole replacements, is a city-issued project. So
Okay.
if there's a property that does not have, if restoration work is not done, a property owner can contact us and we'll make sure that it gets addressed, so.
Now, Mary Park has a lot of area that's changed a lot from that power line going through there, so hopefully they'll come back and fix all that stuff.
I was just, my only point is it should be part of every single contract you do.
I think that
There's 400 pages of these contracts. I think
Right.
you could throw one line in there to say,
Yep.
everything will be restored exactly the way it was.
Yep.
And I'm sure it is. I'm not saying that's not.
Well, we would hope it is. I agree.
But
with
if it's
you.
not, then it should be in the
Right.
future.
I agree.
Have the roll, please.
Alderman Montello?
Yes.
Alderman Kittle?
Yes.
Alderman Vries?
Yes.
Alderman Weinmeier?
Yes.
Alderman Gartner?
Yes.
Alderman Grady?
Yes.
Passes. 7.7, bids for lead service line replacements.
So including the packet, we received 3 bids for the replacement of 11 identified public lead service lines. So again, this is just for the city's portion. This isn't the private property owners. The low bid was from Albertson Excavating in the amount of $109,942. You can see the other 2 bids were from A1 and from Total Excavating. And those were $113,700 and $120,384. So the recommendation from the Utility Commission and staff was to award the project with Albertson. We've worked with them in the past. They were the low bidder. We don't have any concerns about their ability to do the job. So
Is there, I'll make a motion, sure.
Second?
I'll second.
It,
Um,
is there any money left in, we had some grants or something in the past? Do we still have money that'll pay this and grants? Or are we
that
paying-
was just kind of a one-time thing. So we had
So
actually, we had
They'll-
sent
they'll
communication.
we'll bill the owners then for this and then they pay us in time or?
They pay for their portion.
Yes.
We pay
From,
for our
from the
portion.
sidewalk in they pay
Yep.
and then, or from the property
Yeah,
line in they
so
pay?
There was grant funding available previously from the state. We had actually sent out communication to all property owners in the city that had known or suspected lead service lines to see if people were interested in having their lines replaced. Very little response who wanted theirs replaced. And then we did have a contractor complete some. Sometimes we'll actually coordinate these with, if we already are redoing a street in that neighborhood, we'll incorporate those in there as well. For a while, we actually had a difficult time finding contractors wanting to do this work. So, for example, last year with Biltmore Avenue, we actually combined lead service line replacements with the street project, because if they wanted the street project, then they had to go and do these. I think one year we only had one contractor that even bid on it. I think they were from Eau Claire, La Crosse. So we were actually pleasantly surprised to actually get 3 bids on the work. Part of that's just because a lot of times they're kind of hopping around different neighborhoods of town. You're doing some coordination with the property owner in that case. But we do feel that the pricing was competitive in this case. Every year we'll kind of pick away at these. We do have a requirement to replace all of these by 2037. And so we do have more lines that are scheduled for replacement. Some of those would be done in coordination with a street and utility project, but there's others that don't fall in that neighborhood.
So if there's a street utility project, the homeowner would not have to pay to get all the way to his house, or they still would
They would still have to pay for the private portion.
for their hookup?
Yep.
I'll ask you a question that I know you don't know the answer to. What's left? I mean, is there 50 houses left, or 4 houses left, or 1,000 houses left?
You're getting, I think we're in the 90s.
Okay, so it's getting down
yeah.
there.
Yep.
And do we communicate with the property owners to say, hey, Albrightson's doing this, if it gets voted, Albrightson's doing this, contact them to say, hey, they're right there. They might give you a heck of a good price if you contact them and set up coordinate with them to get a better price to go all the way into your house? Or will Albrightson do that or not do that?
So we've had communication with the property owners. So, I mean, they're all aware that these are scheduled for replacement. In terms of I can't speak for the contractor whether they are willing to do that or not.
Okay.
In most cases, if they're there on site doing the public side, they might as well do the whole thing. But in some cases, the private homeowner may have another contractor.
Well, that's up to them. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that we should coordinate with Albrights and say, hey, if there's a homeowner that either can't afford it or, wants a cheaper price because you're already sitting in the front
Yeah,
yard.
same thing with street reconstruction. If someone wants to redo their driveway, the city
Yeah.
doesn't get involved in that. But a lot
Sidewalk.
of times, if the contractor's there and they want to get their driveway done, the city's not involved in that. But a lot of times, the contractor will say, "Yeah, I'm there on site, already there. I can give you a quote."
So all I'm saying is, people that are having this done, the $109,000 worth, I would like communication for the homeowners to be saying, hey, this is gonna be done. And is there already that option to say, Albrightson, can you do the whole thing? Or just a communication between Albrightson and the homeowner, or at least an awareness of the homeowner to say, they're gonna be in my front yard, I've got somebody gonna be there.
Yeah, any project we have, whether it's lead service lines, whether it's a street project, we'll share that information so that they know who is going to be doing the work. And the same thing from a scheduling standpoint, so
Yeah.
that they know,
Sure.
hey, when, because again, if you're doing other work, you don't want your yard tore up twice, or
No,
right,
it's
you're
a
trying to
cheap option
coordinate some
too,
of
'cause
those
they're
things, so.
More than likely got a
I think
pretty good
that's a
price.
great idea.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea then it's up, the negotiation would be between the homeowner and Albrights.
But fine, they gotta know if somebody's in their front lawn.
Right there,
Yeah.
do it.
It'd be
Do
easier
it.
to
Yeah,
call
we-
and
You
say,
gotta
hey,
pay either way, but you might get a
Yeah,
better deal.
the actual lead service line project is coordinated, but I mean, we don't only do the public side and then a month later they come back and do the private side. I mean, that's always done in coordination. But a lot of times if someone's looking to do other yard work or things in that area with their driveway, those are other things that they
yeah,
like
that's
to
none of
coordinate.
our business, but
So.
as,
Relative to the first question that you asked, am I understanding right? This 109,000 bid is for public water line.
yes.
This is for the city's portion.
And so Craig asked the question, how many homes are left? I want to ask you, is the public water line, is this it for lead lines?
No,
90 left.
90 more.
you have to
No,
replace the whole
Right,
piece.
but you're asking about homes. I'm taking that to mean, okay, the city ends here and we go into the home.
Yep.
But we're talking about this line that's serving.
I think there's 90 of those left.
Yes.
Our portion
Isn't
is
so much
90.
this way, it's from the street into the first portion till they get to the shut-off area, and then the
Yeah, this is in our capital improvement plan every year for the next
Right.
several years, that we're, that 100,000, 120,000 number every single
So
year.
And it used to be in the
understand-
state's budget every year to give a break to these people to help
No,
them
that
out
was
with grants.
that was a one state budget cycle. It
That was
a
only one time?
Yep.
Okay.
But to understand the answer that you gave to Craig's question, you said approximately there's 90 homes left. So really, that's all that's left in lead is the water line. As far as the city water department is concerned, the water line that comes off the main that goes to the shut-off valve, or I don't know where that point is. We could use that, right? But we don't have any service lines that are lead. As such, what I'm saying about a trunk.
Some of these are the goosenecks, not the actual line itself. But,
Right.
But yeah, the whole thing has to get replaced. This is just for the public portion.
But
and then
as such, we don't have service line that runs down a street. We have service line that comes off the main thing that goes to
Oh.
where the shut-off
Yeah,
is.
these we're talking about the laterals. So yeah,
Yeah.
you're not going to see.
We don't have any lead main, what I'll call main service lines, we don't have any. Okay. And yeah, I think the comments are exactly right. You would try to communicate. So to that end, you have a map of what we're gonna do.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
I think that's really the issue.
Yeah, and every year we have to report how many known or suspected lines there still are in the city. So yeah, we started this probably 6 years ago, ongoing. The state funding was available just as part of a state budget cycle. That was a big point of focus at the time. Kind of even coming off of Flint, Michigan, and some of the concerns about lead lines. But actually, New Richmond, relatively small number. I mean, there are cities that have thousands of these that have to get replaced.
11 years to do it, so.
Yeah, well then, do you know roughly when lead line went out of favor? So if we have homes that were built, roughly when where lead lines wouldn't have been used anymore?
mean, they really hit, I mean, you're talking probably at least probably in the last 30 to 40 years. I mean, a lot of your newer home. I mean,
Well, just for
you're
the
not gonna
record,
see-
there was kind of a wager made up here that you couldn't be asked a question you didn't know the answer to. So that's what I was working on there, Noah.
I mean, some of these too, I mean, as you get in the real
Okay,
older neighborhoods, again, they're suspected. In some cases, we don't even know for sure. I mean, I mean, some of the older homes, I mean, again, we think they may be, or we think that the gooseneck maybe, need a replacement, but, some cases, again, our records aren't perfect. So.
And can a homeowner get a hold of the city to find out if they're,
Yeah, they just call Bob Meyer.
Got it all right here.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Can we have a roll call, please?
Based,
Scott?
based on this and improvements they've done over the last few years, are we looking at, and you say there's about 90 houses left to go, are we looking at having to do this amount 3 more times, 5 more times, 10 more times?
So we've had, I think, 100,000 in our capital improvement plan the last few years, and then going forward. So, you know, we'll have them replaced well before that 2037 deadline. But just due to budgetary reasons, we don't want to try to do all of them, you know, all at once.
I think his question is,
Just how much longer it's gonna take?
well, like what, if there's 90 some left, what's 109,000 taken care of? 10?
11.
Yeah,
Is it 11?
this is for 11. Yeah.
Okay.
This year it's 11. It could be less.
Could be 4 next year with
Yeah.
100 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if we're doing a street reconstruct again in the capital plan in 3 or 4 years, there might be a whole bunch in that neighborhood that all get replaced at one time. But we want to kind of try to pick away at these and steadily reduce the number.
The cost of PVC pipe next year, it could be 3 or 4.
Any other comments, questions? Michelle, take the roll, please.
Alderman Kittle. Alderman Breeze.
Yes.
Alderman Weinmeier.
Yes.
Alderman Gartner.
Yes.
Alderman Grady.
Yes.
Alderman Montello.
Yes.
7.8.
We received one bid for trail maintenance. That was from Struck and Irwin. Low bid amount $89,874.50. That was reviewed by the Public Works Committee at their most recent meeting. This scope of work includes crack filling on over 15 miles of trails, and then slurry sealing 1.77 miles of trails, which would be Richmond Way, the trail running along the north side of that. And then there is some crack filling at the basketball court at Woodland Creek Park while they're here in town doing the work. So came in favorable to what we had estimated, which was positive, even though it was just the one bidder. So the recommendation is to award the contract to Struck and Irwin in the low bid amount, $89,874.50.
Motion to approve the bid.
Second.
Greg's.
I've got a question.
Go ahead,
On,
Jim.
on Woodland Creek for basketball court, I've never seen anybody play basketball there. I think we should be looking at pickleball courts. That area is growing. Pickleball is one of the fastest growing sports in the country. We could have 4 pickleball courts there and just, you know, crack filling. I said, I go by there frequently and never see anybody playing basketball there. It was
And
tennis
Jim,
courts.
I
and they
think,
made
I think,
the
I
wrong
think you're
direction.
absolutely correct, and we have had some conversation about that, but I don't think that's on this agenda, and I don't know if we should be varying from the agenda.
Well, I'm just saying
topics.
that I think I think we're wasting our money in crack filling there when nobody
Oh.
uses it.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
There could be better uses.
This is for trails. This is not for pickleball courts.
No, it says crack
No,
filling
but
the
I'm saying-
basketball court at Woodland Creek Park.
Yeah.
That's his point.
And is this the chicken or the egg? Are they not playing basketball or anything on that because it's not in good enough condition to do it?
Well, then I've never seen anybody play basketball on
Well, it's
there.
because it's
Maybe
not in good
somebody
enough
doesn't want-
condition to do it there. That's why.
No, it's been that way for 20 years. Nobody's played basketball there.
Staff and the park board a couple of years ago did get quotes actually to convert the basketball courts into pickleball courts, and it was cost prohibitive. There was also feedback from the Pickleball Association at that time that because there weren't bathroom facilities, there wasn't a lot of parking, that they preferred the investment to occur at Mary Park. So both the city and the association have made a lot of investments over the years. Tourism committee contributed funds as well to those courts. So certainly something that could be revisited. I do think we also have to keep in mind we now have an indoor facility. There's also courts at the schools, at the center, and some potential private pickleball courts. So it would actually be constructed by some residential developers too. So so we may have gone from no pickleball courts, and now in a matter of years we have several. But if the council didn't want to, if you wanted to exclude the bid for the crack filling at the court, you could certainly do that if you wanted. We just thought if it's going to get done and you have someone doing the trails right nearby, that made sense to tie it in with the project. So
You'd probably have to do the crack filling even if it was going to be a
Correct.
pickleball court. So it
Correct.
seems
No matter
like the
what
right
it
thing to
is.
do.
No matter what it is, it's part of the 89,000.
Yeah, I don't disagree that to do it now, but I'm looking at in the future, not wasting more money there.
Any other comments, questions? Call for the roll, please.
Alderman Vries,
Yes.
Alderman Weinmeier,
Yes.
Alderman Gartner,
Yes.
Alderman Grady,
Yes.
Alderman Montello.
Yes.
Alderman Kittle.
Yes.
All right, we are past our 8 o'clock time. How do you want to handle this? Do you want to table these next two, or do you want to reconvene after our sign die?
I think we can wrap these up here in short order. While it is 8 o'clock, I would guess we can get through these pretty
Okay.
quickly. And so the next item was we have 2 quotes for pavement markings. The low quote was submitted by Farner Asphalt Sealers in the amount of $28,687. So initially, we didn't receive any bids at the bid deadline. We then followed up with folks that asked for proposals, and we did receive the 2 included in the packet. We've worked with Farner Asphalt in the past, and they've done good work. So this primary focus is on Knowles Avenue for these markings. So you'll see in the bids, these are a lot of the arrows and details, not just your typical crosswalks or things that staff do. So
I'd make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I just got a question about the future of the markings with the equipment that we purchased or are going to lease. I'm not sure which it was. Would that machine be capable of doing this in the future?
So the equipment we bought last year, that autonomous striper,
Yep.
it works well for athletic fields, works well for parking lots if you can kind of block them off. In this case, when you're dealing with a state highway, blocking off traffic probably wouldn't be the best use. Where if we wanted to block off the City Hall parking lot on a Saturday, and you don't have to worry about vehicles, nothing running it over or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
I was just
for a
curious.
busier area like this, we'd prefer to have a contractor come in.
Okay,
So.
thanks.
Anything else?
The question I would have was, this is for the markings on the pavement, but when I look at the actual bids, they pertain to stump grinding.
What?
Request for bid.
I see a bid for asphalt. They have the quantities for the arrows.
Where do you see that, Scott?
I think there's a funny link
It's on
your-
page 7. First paragraph on page 7.
Of which bid?
Oh, he's right. The first paragraph says, we, having fully reviewed the IFB and conducted such due diligence, da-da-da-da-da.
Oh,
And all
yeah, that
necessary
may
for
have been from a
completion of the stump
previous,
grinding project.
RFP. That could just be the RFP that went out had the wrong. As we've been doing so many different bids, it could be where they took the template from that section, but the bids themselves though are all for the correct work.
Wait a minute here, Scott. I think you've got a good point here. If we can get him to do a bunch of stump grinding for the same price.
And do the markings.
And do the markings.
Yeah, so
Something to look at.
the bid details on page 8 for both are accurate. So, but yeah, probably a portion from the RFP document was probably copied from another RFP. So good catch on that though.
Wasn't a catch, it was confusion.
Yep.
All right. Any other comments, questions? Call the roll, please.
Alderman Weinmeier,
Yes.
Alderman Gartner, Alderman Grady,
Yes.
Alderman Montello.
Yes.
Alderman Kittle,
Yes.
Alderman Breeze.
Yes. Motion carries. May council work session date?
Yeah, and for the sake of time, if the council wants to revisit this, we just want to at least put this on folks' radar. Our May work session date falls on Memorial Day, because it's the fourth Monday. So we just wanted to look at if there's interest in doing something either the week prior or that week of. I wasn't sure what, sometimes people are traveling or there's graduations or things going on. So we don't have to make a decision on that tonight, but just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Would it be
So-
possible just to send out a survey to
Sure.
the board members and give some potential dates? And then we can gather those and,
But just in terms of people thinking, I don't know why we just don't do it on Tuesday night.
I'm okay on the 26th, you're
Yeah.
saying? Yeah.
So anyhow, just throw that out. I think Pete's got a decent idea. You can just send it out and
Yeah,
ask
yep.
people, but.
What's wrong
but
with
I think
Memorial
you're-
Day?
I'm sorry?
What's wrong with Memorial Day?
26th, the Sunday?
April.
But I do think that if you don't whiteboard it, kind of say, we're going to give you a couple, choose. I think that's the way to go.
That sounds good.
I'd rather do it the week before.
Agenda topics for future meetings? Any announcements? Michelle, you must have something about
I mean,
the
I can save
election.
them for the next meeting, but I did want to thank all of the election workers. This past week, we have an excellent team, and Scott was here with us all day as well. The day went really smoothly, so. just
Michelle, I
appreciation of it.
haven't seen officially, how do you compare the turnout to previous spring elections?
Well, I'm not going to say that it was in my memo, but low. I mean, we were at 39.8. 39.8, and last spring we were at 51. So it felt like we were busier than last year, but we were not.
And just for the
So-
record, I'm an auditory learner,
Oh, perfect, perfect.
so I waited for the actual verbal report.
I have like a 4-year step in the memo, so go back and check that out to everyone else who missed it.
Right. Any other announcements?
I'd just like to thank Jim Zakowski for his years and years and years of service to the city in Richmond and his relentless pounding on doors and raising money and doing a lot of good things for the city in Richmond. So I just want to thank him.
I'll echo that.
And I'd like to say thank you for Craig too, being on the park board for what, about 18, 20 years, and being on the council at least 12, 14 years for your insight. And I wish new mayor Pete Freeze all the luck in the world, and new council member Sean Demingling too. And I hope the whole council moves forward and does a great job for the city of New Richmond as we have in the past. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thanks, Jim. I'm starting to tear up. Those are good comments.
Any other announcements? For a motion to adjourn.
I'll offer that motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Everyone like to take a quick break before we